Um, Welcome everyone. I had a whole long monologue there about how my year started, but uh, welcome everyone. Welcome back. I haven't seen you guys and been in front of you for a couple of months. I decided to take a break from the end of November, and I have returned to classical chess here in 2024. I have some goals I'd like to reach, and I'm really excited to be back in front of all of you. So, welcome back, everybody that's here. And as many of you know, if you caught my last stream, um, I did actually take a break from classical chess over the board play at the beginning of November, middle of November, to spend time with my family and enjoy the holidays. And that was a really good time. I was still studying a lot of chess, I just wasn't going to the club and spending time that way. But we have now reached 2024, and I'm back to over the board chess. The first tournament that I've played is the Winter Swiss at our local club. It's a 4-round tournament, and I was able to play the last 3 rounds. I took a first round bye because the first round bye, the first round started in December and I was still on my break. I didn't want to come back. So we're back now, and I'm super, super excited. So, again, apologies for the little hiccup in the beginning with the audio. I forgot my microphone was muted, but I think everything looks like it's working and good to go at this point. Let me check the stream just to make sure here. Looks like it's working. All looks good, and I believe chat is good. Hello, everyone. And it looks like it's posting to both YouTube and Twitch, so I'm excited about that. Technically, I did it all right, so I'm pleased with that. And it looks like I see it all in my platform here. So, very cool. All right, so let's get started. And let's go to here so you guys can actually see everything. Okay, my first round was actually round 2 of the Winter Swiss, and I was a little bit nervous. I've decided that I'm changing up my openings. So whatever I learned back in 2023, I decided to not play that anymore. I will play it occasionally online, but now I've switched over to some new openings again, trying to build my knowledge and my depth and stuff like that. So I'm very excited about that. And as you know, when you switch openings, things become difficult, and you really have no idea what's happening one way or another. So you have to start getting into a lot of the nuances of a new opening. So a lot of positions are now going to be new. I'm going to be in a lot of unfamiliar territory, and if any of you have tried to change openings, you know what I'm talking about. For those of you that don't know, it can be a little jarring to make some changes to openings and then be met with a lot of positions that you're unfamiliar with and you don't really know, and it can be a tough time. So the only advice that I have to you, if you are starting a new opening, just be patient and try to learn it as best you can and play it as much as possible. The other nice thing that you can do when you start changes to new opening is go through a lot of Grandmaster games. Find your favorite Grandmasters or favorite top players and look for games that they played in those openings and just click through them quickly and go through them in repetition over and over. And you'll be able to find a lot of plans and ideas that way on how you should maybe proceed. So if you've been using a Chessable course or something like that, and you are looking to try to get better from the opening into the middle game, the best thing to do is click through a bunch of those games and see how the Grandmasters progressed. So it's really easy to follow Chessable and learn some of the lines and kind of get up to speed really quickly But a lot of times, what I'm finding after you do that is it's really tough to progress and figure out how to move forward from the ending of wherever that chessable course lands. So it's usually the first 7, 8 moves, maybe 10 if you're a little bit more advanced, maybe even into 15 or 20 moves if you're really getting some of these bigger lifetime courses. But what I find troubling for I think a lot of people, and myself included, is you get to a point where your chessable and opening knowledge ends, and now you have to play chess. So to start getting past that, one thing you can do is go through Grandmaster games, look through the games in those openings, and see how the Grandmasters kind of moved on from there. So I did a lot of that in November and December while I was off, and I felt semi-comfortable in the openings that I've decided to start playing for the year. And the openings that I am playing are going to be the ready. So as white, which we will see a white game today, I will be playing the ready. And then as black, I'm going to be playing the Pirc or the King's Indian Defense. Those are my 3 openings that I'm going to try to play for the year. And so if you want to prepare for me, by all means, go ahead. I actually challenge it because I guarantee that I'm probably outworking whoever's doing their opening prep. They're going to have a challenge because I get my lines as deep as I possibly can. And I do take examples from ChessBase and I do put them into some of my opening rep because I think some of those ideas are really valuable. So this will be the first over-the-board game that I've played in a King's Indian Defense. This is actually an English opening. My opponent is Aaron Krause from our local club here in Waukesha, and I'm really excited about this game because he's a 1900 player and he's at the level that I want to be at, and I really wanted to get a good game with him. So I was actually pretty excited to have a really strong opponent for my first time back. I knew this was going to be an extremely difficult game, and I did not know what he plays as white. I've played him a few times, but it hasn't been... Actually, if I go back and look at my... Do I have any games with him? I believe I've played him once before. Not in Classical. It looks like from my notes and my ChessBase, I've only played him in Rapid or Blitz. So I've actually taken one off of him in Blitz. I played a Dutch against him, and I actually beat him. And then I think he beat me in another game where I played in English, and I think he beat me that game. So I did find that kind of interesting. So I was really excited that I had pretty strong chances to be able to compete. So yeah, very exciting. Let's take a look. So he started with an English. I had no idea what he played as white. I didn't know, so I was unclear. I didn't have any notes, so I just kind of prepared my own stuff. And here I played d6. I am preparing for a King's Indian Defense. At this point, I'm expecting d4, and he did play it, thankfully enough. So I feel a little bit comfortable. We're getting into some territory that I'm actually familiar with, which is nice. And so far, so good. I know the ideas and plans from here, or, well, at least some of the opening plans and ideas from here. So, and he plays kind of almost like a ready structure where he wants to fianchetto this bishop, and then stop me from maybe fianchettoing mine, gaining more control over the center. So I'm going to continue on with my hyper-modern approach as a King's Indian Defense player. So I want to get castled, and then we're going to go from there. So he played bishop g2, I played bishop g7, just continuing development, and he played knight c3. So I thought to myself, okay, well, I believe that he's going to strongly kind of castle queen or king side, but I'm not 100%. I think it's quite possible that he wants to castle king side, but it's unclear because he developed a piece from each side. So he did get closer to castling queen side, and he did get closer to castling king side. So I don't really know, but I think I'm safe because the moves that I have to be a little bit careful of, or that you should be careful of in the King's Indian defense, is whether or not they play a little bit more aggressively on the king side by advancing the f pawn or advancing this bishop and knight, getting closer to castling queen side. So it's probably a 50-50 chance that he could castle either way. So I think I'm safe at this point, at least to castle king side. Had I expected him to, let's pretend for a minute that he switched his move order here a little bit, or he moved his bishop. Maybe not that. This is a poor example because he played g3, so I guess I can't really look at it any other way. But if I expected him to castle queenside quickly and then start a very quick kingside attack, I might want to not consider castling kingside. But here I thought I was safe to do so, and I decided to do that. So I have my main setup. I've reached a spot where I feel good, and he continued with e4. And so I got move ordered into, it's not a Pierce, but it's a King's Indian defense. And with this move order the way it is, I was a little out of my depth because he has not committed his kingside knight anywhere. So I was a little bit, I guess, confused on how to best proceed. And I think I made a slight mistake here by playing knight c6. And I think I should have played knight b to d7. I think this should have been my move. This should have been a variation with the idea of playing d5 really quickly. But my idea was to play knight c6 and then play a quick e5 to then try to prompt and hope for an advance of the d pawn to d5. And then we would get something like this. So we're going to add a variation, and then I'd get my typical King's Indian defense structure, and I'm happy with this. My next idea is to go here and then here, right? That's kind of the typical plan and structure for a King's Indian defense. But this whole idea was, I was a little thrown off because, whoop, I don't want to go back. Nope, let's delete. Oh, no, okay. No, we don't want to do that. Delete that move. Sorry about that. Delete remaining moves. So I'm a little taken back by his move order and placement of some of his pieces, and I was unsure on how best to proceed. So I kind of flounder. I start to flounder here, kind of badly, actually. And I made a bunch of moves that I probably shouldn't have. And what this is me mixing up plans based on the setup. I'm mixing up plans based on where I think pieces are supposed to be and how I think I should proceed. So I'm actually mixing up plans based on a few different lines. And this can happen when you start studying new openings. And I'm no different. I fall victim to this as well. And it happens until you become experienced in the openings or playing these openings, which means you got to play a lot more games to get behind. So I played h6 here, and this was probably, this is certainly a tempo wasting move. It's probably, I wouldn't call it a mistake, but it's certainly a dubious move. I marked it as such in my notes here. And in my notes, I say I mixed up ideas and plans. Move order matters somewhat, and I was not familiar with this move order, allowing for a potentially quick f4 for a 4 pawns attack. And right here, I'm kind of out of my depth. And I played this h6 as a prophylactic move, kind of as a waiting move. For two reasons. One, I wanted to see how he was going to progress. I was expecting him to castle. And then two, I wanted to keep his bishop out of this square here, or any other pieces. Now, there's no danger of him actually bringing any of that stuff there, at least right now. But I think what I probably should have done instead is just struck in the center, just went right for e5 right away, expecting d5, and then, I could continue on with my normal development here. And I feel like this was a much cleaner way to kind of progress and continue. And now I do get my f5 in, but he also has f4. So this particular knight to e2 move has kind of messed me all up, because I was not expecting any of the lines to come where he can push a very quick f4. So I'm definitely out of my depth here, and feeling a little pressure. So I got a little confused and mixed up my plans, which it happens. What are you going to do? You have to continue on. I figured this out after, post-mortem, when I'm analyzing the game later. I didn't think about this during the game on how many tempo I was wasting based on some of these moves. So I think... Okay, so after e5, if he castles, we can play for that, and he gets this Maroczy bind type of structure, and this is okay for black. He's got this c-pawn here that he has to take care of. I can easily attack that very quickly with developing a few of my pieces. He can defend it and then kind of fianchetto this way, but overall, black has an okay position and has taken a part of the center down, and I think we're doing okay. Another variation that we can continue on here is this one, and then we get this, the queen doesn't really want to take back here, mainly because there's this discovery you have to be careful of, and I think I have a pretty good move here with this. He's got a... Actually, no, he can just take that. That won't work. There was another move here. I can't remember exactly what it was. I think I'm in the wrong variation, but I'm probably mixing up some of my analysis. But yeah, this discovery is kind of a little bit scary to deal with. So it's easily dealt with, so it's not too big of a deal, but it's something to worry about. We're actually going to delete that move before. Delete remaining moves. Okay. That didn't happen. And none of that happened. I played h6 instead. So I've kind of wasted a little bit of a move here. Okay, fine. And he played h3, so he made an equally... You entered a URL in chat that's not allowed. What? I'm gonna have to figure that out. Okay, so apparently it does not like my automatic links for restream. Maybe you guys can't... Are you guys able to type it all? I'm not sure that anything's actually coming through. I know some people are watching, so hello to everybody. I haven't seen any chat messages come through, so I'm kind of unclear. I guess I'm going to have to turn off that bot, because that's just pushing stuff that's not going to really actually work. Okay, definitely some technical things I have to work through. Not sure exactly how that goes. We'll just continue on. That doesn't really matter at this point. So here I finally play e5. I get my move in, and he played d5 and knight e7. So I did get my moves in, thankfully enough, which is really great. What's interesting is it still shows, like, in my chat, the stuff's there. I don't know if you guys see it from... Actually, let me check my restream and see. It shows there. Does it show on Twitch? Whoops. It looks like it does. Oh, it actually gets... I see. So it's actually Twitch is the one that said, no, 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 you can't do this. Okay, interesting. It shows up on my on my stream because there's a link to it, but it didn't show up actually in the Twitch stream chat. I'm gonna have to solve that problem, but okay, very good. All right, so back to the game. I got my move in, and he continues development. He's really delaying this castling, which is kind of, I think part of this has really kind of thrown me off altogether. And I don't really know how to proceed. I know one of my ideas is to push F5, but I know that he can equally push F4, so I made another waiting move, and I probably shouldn't have. So now I've wasted a few moves trying to get my things in when I could have done it so much faster. Whereas here, I think I should just play knight e8, queen d2, and then king h7, and then I can play for f5 at this point. And I think I'm okay. I'm not doing amazing, but my d6 pawn could potentially be a problem if he castles queenside, because he'll have this rook here, and he'll have this battery, and it will be difficult to deal with. So that's something to consider. But I think we're doing okay. I played a5, which is another meaningless move. I shouldn't have played this because there's no reason to, not at least right now, because I can't get my knight to d5, so it kind of doesn't matter much. So he played queen d2, I played king h7, protecting my h6 pawn. So can you guys actually see that? Yeah, you can see it. There's just a little bit of a delay. So yeah, I kind of calculated this out, and then he castled kingside, and I thought, okay, so now, you know, we both kind of, he's got this really nice strong center, and I have to figure out how to disrupt it, but I didn't think about that at all in the game. I'm still hung up on my own ideas, and not, I'm still a little bit concerned with his, whereas I should be really concerned with his plans and working to prevent him from completing those plans, instead of you know, kind of just going through. So I'm going to continue on. I played knight to e8 with the idea of pushing f5. And maybe I should have played knight d7, f4, and then f6. Maybe not committing all the way to f5, and maybe I'm okay here. Because if he decides to do a move like this, I can lock up the center, and yeah, we can maybe do some trades and stuff like that. But then, you know, I can always kind of circle my king around back to safety and then get control of that and then start playing on the queen side. I am a little jammed up here, so this is kind of a tough position to be in. But, you know, I think we're okay. I think everything's all right. It's certainly, I've seen worse. I've seen better as well. But you know, how are we gonna proceed from here? Okay, let's see. Nope. Chat settings. I'm gonna have to play around with some of the settings here in Restream. I haven't used this before, so this is new to me. There was a thing before some of the messages came up that showed how many people were here, but it seems to have gone away now that the chat messages have filled up. So that's kind of changed a little bit. And it all seems fine. Everything seems to be working, which is great. There was like a little link that showed how many people were on each platform, which I thought was really cool. But now that the chat's filled up, seems to have gone away. I like that little feature. I wish it would stay there the whole time. Might be something we have to investigate. All right, back to the game. Let's move this down a little bit so I can see the rest of my analysis. All right, so this might have been a decent way. I didn't play that, and he played F4, and I played F5, which most likely is a big mistake. I probably, shouldn't have played this. I don't think I can allow him to take on E5. I think I have to handle this. I think I should have handled this like this. And this was not my suggestion. This was a suggestion by Evan, my training partner, or one of my training partners. And I do like this a lot better. It feels a lot more safe. And I feel like I'm pretty cramped, and I don't have a lot of space for my pieces. And I have to start trying to unwind, and I think this is probably the best way to do it. And I do like his idea quite a bit. I feel like this would have been a much better and safer way to go. I was so fixed on my plan that I didn't consider any of the issues with his. So I played F5, and I believe this was probably my big mistake. Because now, bad things are going to happen. And he plays Rook A to E1, and he gave me a chance here. I probably should have, still taken here, new variation, and I think I still might be okay. He gave me a second chance. Unfortunately, I didn't take it. I developed my bishop. I don't understand why I made this move. I'm looking at it now, and it really doesn't make a lot of sense at all. Now I remember. I wanted to move my queen here and have this battery on H3, and I just don't think that helps at all whatsoever. I don't like it at all. Doesn't make a lot of sense. This is just I have some of these ideas that I've mixed up with. This is just lack of experience in the King's Indian defense. So I really played this quite poorly. That was the idea anyways, and I think this would have been a better way to go. Bishop D7 I think is another mistake. So now I've made two mistakes in a row, and I've given him chances to do everything he needs to do. So he was able to take on E5, which I think that's the biggest mistake. I should not allow that, because now taking back, and here's where most of my issues come into play, because now he's got this D6 pawn push that can just, and look at my pieces are just so, that's not what I want. There we go. They're all just stuck back here, like they're not doing anything. His pieces are very active. He's got a lot of activity. His pieces can jump into play very quickly, and none of mine can. So he played C5, wanting to play D6, and what I'm frustrated here is I played another inaccuracy, maybe even another mistake. I saw probably the best move, which was Rook A6. I thought, okay, I'm just going to come here, and I can pretty much stop everything. I don't know what I was scared of, because this helps me bring this over here and control the F file, and I feel like this is just great. Not great, but this is much better than the way I played it. And I saw this over the board, and I didn't play it for some reason. I I was seeing phantoms or ghosts or something, and it didn't work out. So I play another inaccuracy, I believe, which is queen to c8, kind of continue with my plan to go after this pawn, which I don't know why. I guess I'm kind of expecting him to take here, which he never has to do. He can just leave it. His plan is clear. He wants to push here. He's got all this pressure, and I just can't stop any of it. So, and here I think he made an inaccuracy. I think he should have continued on right away. And if you look, it just kind of... This is tough to deal with. That d6 pawn is huge, and I don't really know how best to deal with this type of pressure. This is pretty much losing for black, so I think this was... I think this was a mistake, or at the very least, it's an inaccuracy for my opponent. I think he should have just continued on. And here I mean, I mark this as a dubious move, but this is probably most likely a mistake as well. The game kind of falls apart from this point on, and if you guys can kind of see how to stop it, it's pretty bad. There's not a lot of stuff that I can do. I can still play rook h6 here, and I think this feels really strong, and I feel like I still have very good chances if I find this move and make it. But that didn't happen. He played here, and bishop takes f5 was a mistake. There's a lot of tactics at this point. I don't know if you guys can see them and leave some comments, but it gets really, really bad quite quickly. Maybe there's ways to continue, but this was... I think I had maybe this option. Maybe this is playable. But this is still not very fun. I'm very cramped, and now he's got this pawn on c6, and it's really tough to unwind. Maybe it's playable. You know, maybe I can bring my knight in here. But even then, you know, this is not looking good. Well, maybe he can't do that because of this, but he can probably take here first and then take the pawn. But yeah, this is rough for sure. Not very good. So I played what I thought was a good move, but this is probably most likely a big mistake. And he played d6. I think he should have played g4 right away. I think he made a mistake here. Not that it matters because his pressure is so great. I'm kind of stuck, and this is really difficult to deal with. And yeah, this pawn is just so devastating. Not much I can do about that. He exchanged some pawns, which I think was bad. I brought my knight to c6, and this was a blunder. And I think it probably would have been better to come to knight to g6 and try to deal with this pawn with this type of variation. And it's still very difficult. This pawn is just so strong. There's not a lot I can do about it. Rook f5, and can you guys see and spot the move that my opponent played? And can you spot a better move? There's two moves here that I think are both okay, but it's rough. It's really difficult for me. Black is falling apart. Everything is bad. Can you guys spot the move? If you can, leave some comments. Wait for chat. I don't know. Has anybody made any chats in either YouTube or Twitch? If you can, please, that would be great, so I can see whether or not they're actually coming through on Restream or not. I don't see them coming through on my chat bot, and I don't have my YouTube stream up, so I'm not sure. Maybe I can look at my live chat there and see. It's been a while since I've streamed to YouTube. I don't even remember where to go. That's certainly not it. Okay, let's go back to go live. Okay, it shows me live there. Start back. Okay. Yeah, allow. Something went wrong. Okay, that's fun. Can you just take me here? I don't want the opening. It shows my stream going, but there's a thing coming up that I can't get past, unfortunately, because it wants to schedule a stream. That's lame. Okay, I guess we'll just continue on. I'm expecting that the chat's working and just people are quiet, but can't really tell. Oh, there we go. I see. So there's some things, there's some people here. Hi, and I'm just lurking. Thank you. Okay, perfect. Thank you. I appreciate. I just wanted to make sure that the messages were coming up. So I do have a message from people on YouTube, and I do have messages from people on Twitch. So I know it's working. I just wasn't sure because I hadn't seen any messages. So people are quiet and just listening. That's cool. Thank you for appeasing my curiosity. Very much so. Okay, we'll continue on. All right, so have you had a chance to check it out? Have you figured out what the moves are? This is the move my opponent made, which pins this rook to my king, which is an extremely critical square. There's actually a better move, I think. Not sure if you guys found it, but d7 looks to be very, very difficult to deal with. I'm losing... yeah, I think he should have played this way. And I found this move... We talked about this in postmortem, but I don't think it really matters. I think it's all bad. Yeah, I'm down a piece and I can't continue. So even with bishop e4, this is still rough. I think we talked about this move as variation. Actually, is that the move that I saw? Yeah. This was a variation that we both considered. That pin's still there and it's still difficult to deal with. But there was a variation here that seems to work out in my favor. That we found. No, even then, I'm gonna lose that piece. So yeah, there was one that we found during postmortem, and I couldn't find it, but yeah, d7's actually pretty rough to deal with. So after bishop e4, I came up with this move. Probably still losing. This is so tough, and he played d7 now, and I thought, okay, nope, that's not it. I don't have a variation here. There was, no matter what, I think I'm in a rough spot, because I'm going to lose that rook, which is okay. Let's say I go here, do variation in here, and let's take I've got 3 minor pieces, he's got 4. I'm down a minor piece, and he's got this very, very tough pawn. If I take here, that's like the worst thing. That's a major blunder. And now I've got this fork. And I just can't deal with any of that. So I took here, but I saw this variation, but I did not see the critical variation, which is another step further. He took here, I took here, and the move that I did not see was this move, coming back, because he promotes, and I thought, oh, I'm going to have time to bring my knight to here, forking here, and I might have some chances, but no, I messed up, so at this point I resigned. And that was the end. Really tough first game, but I believe it all came down to just lack of plans, lack of experience in the opening. And yeah, it was a rough game. So kudos to my opponent, Aaron Krause. Um, I guarantee when we meet again that this sort of thing won't happen again because I'll have much more experience under my belt. So um, it's great to see him back to the club. He'd been away for 6 to 8 months or whatever, so he's back, and I look forward to playing him again. So I'm really excited. He's such a great opponent, and he plays really interesting chess. So I'm really excited to learn and become stronger by playing Aaron. So thanks to Aaron. This was a really fun game. I did enjoy this game quite a bit. So not a good start to the year, but that's okay. But yeah, a decent first game. I was happy to have a strong player, and that should be good.